No self. The ultimate freedom. I, the self draped in virtue. From the moment we are born, we are given a name, an identity, a place in the family and society. As we grow, this self doesn't just thrive on food and clothing, it's built up through expectations, ideals, and values instilled by those around us. Success, morality, contribution, compassion. Strangely enough, even when we walk a spiritual path which seems to be about transcending the self, this very self often hides beneath new robes, robes of compassion, of the bodhisattva ideal, of saving all beings. We learn to do good, to sacrifice, to serve. But then, in a moment of deep silence, a question arises. Why am I doing this? For whom? And who is the I doing all this? This seemingly simple question shatters the surface of our carefully constructed world. It calls into question the foundation of what we've always assumed to be real. It whispers that maybe the self we've worked so hard to build has never truly existed. 2. What is reality when nothing is certain? We live in a world with history, science, belief systems, and spiritual ideals carefully arranged like a map to guide our lives. But if you stop and ask, is this world truly real? There's no easy answer. To say it's unreal feels too extreme. After all, we feel pain, we experience joy, we touch and taste and see. But to say it's real doesn't quite fit either. Everything is in constant flux. Nothing remains the same. Even the concept of the universe is something we humans constructed, based on data and theories. What existed before the Big Bang? Science doesn't know. Philosophy hesitates. Religion answers with a creator. But the more we probe into the origin of reality, the more we find ourselves lost. Each discovery leads to a greater abyss of unknowns. Perhaps the only thing truly real is the ungraspable nature of all things. 3. Faith, a fortress in the midst of chaos. When questions about being, the cosmos, time, and death become too overwhelming, we turn to faith. Religion was not born to explain everything, but to soothe the deepest human anxiety, the fear of not knowing who we are, where we came from, and where we're going. So we create images of God, Buddha, heavenly realms, karmic laws like frames to help contain the chaos. These symbols become sacred shelters for our souls. But when faith is mistaken for absolute truth, it no longer shelters, it walls us in. The wall is made of one thought: I already know. And the truth is, no one truly knows. 4. No self, a door that shatters belief. The idea of no self, anatta, is one of the most difficult concepts to grasp, not because it is too abstract, but because it contradicts everything the ego wants to believe. If you say, there is no self, then who is saying it? If you say, everything is an illusion, then who is seeing the illusion? But in deep meditation, in the stillness of awareness, we start to see the I we refer to as simply a stream of sensations, memories, thoughts, cravings, identities, all constantly changing. Nothing is fixed, nothing stands still. In the stillness between thoughts, in the gap between one grasping and the next, the self disappears and something vast begins to emerge. You can't name it, you can't possess it, but it is filled with life, clarity, and a strange relief, like melting into the wind, the sunset, the breath. 5. The monk, the droplet, and the sky. A Zen master once said, before I studied the way, mountains were mountains, rivers were rivers. While studying the way, mountains were no longer mountains, rivers no longer rivers. But when I understood the way, mountains were mountains again, rivers were rivers. The final seeing is not about denying the world but seeing it unfiltered by the lens of ego. Like a droplet merging into the ocean, it does not disappear. It does not lose itself. It simply returns, and in doing so, it becomes everything and nothing. No self is not the absence of feeling or a cold indifference. It is love without grasping, action without the need for praise, living without the compulsion to become someone. 6. The path home with no one to walk it. Here is the paradox. You cannot try to attain no self, because the one who tries is this self. Every effort to become enlightened, to let go, to achieve freedom, is just the ego wearing a spiritual mask. So what should we do? Nothing. Just watch. Just listen. Just be present. Don't add. Don't subtract. Don't try to see anything, just see what is. When no one is seeking anymore, that which is sought reveals itself. 7. Nitrogen monoxide SEL. Not nothing, but everything. No self is not about being empty, it is seeing that nothing belongs to me. It is the freedom from thinking, I am good, I am bad, I must awaken, I am the one doing this. When the ego dissolves, you do not disappear, you return to life as it is, without borders, without titles, without goals, but full of presence, love, and understanding. A Zen teacher once asked his student, "Who are you when you are not thinking of anything?" There is no answer. Just sit and breathe with that question. Kadalapan. Conclusion: the liberating death of the ego. We are born and spend our whole lives constructing a self, one that becomes more refined and spiritual over time. But that very self is also the root of our sorrow, disappointment, insecurity, and constant longing. No self is not a theory to adopt, it is a way to live. You don't have to become a monk, a hermit, or leave society. You just need to turn inward to the space no one can enter but you. There, you will see clearly what has been driving everything. And if you have the courage to let go even of yourself, you will enter a space where there is nothing to fear, no one to impress, and no one left to become. Only pure being remains, vast as the sky,